Petra, please
Yeah.
introduce our viewers, respected Dr. Ramakrishna.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome all attendees and those attending Facebook Live. Thank you, Dr. Satyam, for this introduction. I'm Petra, your moderator for the session, and it's my privilege to introduce to you a very special guest, also our inaugural speaker today, Dr. Ramakrishna. Dr. Ramakrishna is the Vice Chancellor of S. Vyasa in Bangalore, India. Dr. Ramakrishna is also the Vice President of the Central Council of Indian Medicine from the Government of India. He has 35 years of teaching experience in undergraduates and postgraduate studies, and he is Professor Emeritus at Sushruta Ayurvedic Medical College and Hospital, also in Bangalore. His professional experience spans 40 years of integrative medicine practice at Atreya Health Paradise. He has 20 years of research experience, including postgraduate and PhD studies, and he has developed 65 polyherbal Ayurvedic products. He's conducting Ayurveda and yoga workshops internationally in a variety of countries like Germany, Austria, but also in Singapore. We are very grateful that Dr. Ramakrishna will give a 30-minute class on the topic, effect of integrative medicine on side effects of cancer and its management.
My dear Dr. Satyam, Kiran, Petraji, and all the participants in today's International Conference in Integrative Medicine being organized by Yoga Ayurveda Union Singapore and all the viewers. First of all, let me express Abhinandan, congratulations to Yoga Ayurveda Union Singapore for having organized such a wonderful international conference in integrative medicine, especially with the topic of the cancer management with special reference to yoga and Ayurveda. Really, Satyam deserves lot of Abhinandan. And at this joyful moment, let me also take the name of CCRYS, Central Council of Research in Yoga. Our director, Dr. Raghavendra, who is very close and nearer to me, and today's conference is being organized by both the organizations. Let me express once again Abhinandan to Yoga Union Singapore and CCRYN Government of India, New Delhi. Friends, in the present scenario of this COVID-19, this type of conferences are inevitable. I am sure Dr. Satyam would have organized in a jubilant way if COVID-19 wouldn't have been there. But this is the plus point of COVID-19. Still, in the worst situation, we can organize, we can involve people, we can deliberate, and we can take the science into higher and higher level. Today's topic being integrative medicine. First, then comes yoga and Ayurveda, the role of yoga and Ayurveda in cancer management. What is integrative medicine? Why integrative medicine? Let us make an analysis first. What is integration? Integration is opting or selecting the best from the available resources. Knowledge is not anybody's property. Knowledge is the property of the person who uses it, who implements it. Whether it is ancient knowledge, traditional knowledge, modern knowledge, scientific knowledge, whatever for that matter, if one uses selectively, with an objective of providing some relief, some benefit to the recipient without side effects at less cost. That is called as integration with reference to a medical system. You know, Indian thinking has been integration in all aspects. Look, the Rigveda says, Ano bhadraha kritavo yanta vishvataha. Let noble thoughts come to us from every side, whether from the east or from the west or from the south or north. For us, there is no any barrier. We need the best thing from the society. It is for the society. India always believes in ekata mein anekata, unity in diversity, and anekata mein ekata. Similarly, with reference to our belief and faith, Indian thinking has been ekam hi sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. The ultimate truth is only one, and people admire, people worship differently in different paths. So, as a medical professionalist, our objective is to provide the best medical service, the best available medical service to the recipient. And we are not worried about whether it comes from Ayurveda or from naturopathy or from modern system of medicine, homeopathy, Chinese medicine, this medicine, that medicine. No. We want to see that my patient, whom I admire, I consider as my Lord, Rugna Devo Bhava, Atura Devo Bhava, patient is my God. I need such weapons, such tools, which are the best. That is called as integration, otherwise known as holistic. Now, the question arises, the modern system of medicine has already reached its zenith in understanding the human body. The modern experts are capable of understanding the diseases to the minutest level. Take the example of this COVID-19. They have identified the proteins present in the spikes. They are already very seriously exploring all possibilities to bring the vaccine. So many things are happening. The modern science conducts more than 5,000 types of surgeries. The modern science uses more than 40,000 chemicals in preparing various products as medicine. Look at in vitro fertilization, organ transplantation, whatnot, and emergency management. Modern science really does reach the zenith. Let us all congratulate. But at the same time, understand the modern science of medicine has not been able to provide solution to many of the non-communicable diseases. What are non-communicable diseases? Which are caused due to lifestyle, improper lifestyle management, due to stress. They are hypertension, diabetes, sleep disorders, migraine, hormonal disorders, cancer, ulcerative colitis, psoriasis, degenerative diseases. These are so many. Earlier, the people used to worry about the communicable diseases. But today, look at these non-communicable diseases are knocking the door of almost every home. In every home, you will find a diabetic or a hypertensive or a person with anxiety, depression, migraine. The non-communicable diseases are knocking the doors of every home and spreading like communicable diseases. But what is the solution today? The modern system of medicine has palliative cure. Once you're diabetic, you have to take lifelong medicine. Once you are a hypertensive, you have to take medicine lifelong. Once you become disturbed sleep, you start taking some sedatives or tranquilizers, lifelong. Where is the cure for that matter? Cure is not something like taking medicine and every day managing. It is only palliative. Why this is happening? The modern science of medicine is not able to find solution to these non-communicable diseases, including the cancer today. It is because the modern system of medicine understanding approach or the method is different from the traditional systems. What is the approach of modern system of medicine? It is purely matter-based approach, deterministic approach, reductionistic approach. Modern system considers human system as a machine. And once the machine, it goes out of order, they try to repair. When repair is not possible, they replace it. This is how it is happening. Why this is? This is because the modern science is yet to understand the human life in totality. It is incomplete. Here comes the role of the traditional systems of medicine, alternative systems of medicine, complementary systems of medicines, Indic medicines. What is this? Here, Ayush, Ayurveda, Unani, Yoga, Naturopathy, Siddha, Sawa, Ripa, all these systems, their thinking and the approach is something different from the modern system of medicine. What is the difference? The difference is totalistic approach. They understand the human system in total. It is not dissecting this, that, and understanding. Totalistic approach. Secondly, knowledge-based approach, conscious-based approach. According to Ayurveda, which is considered to be one of the earliest systems of medicine known to the mankind since time immemorial, this human system is essentially an integrative manifestation of physical body, senses, mind, intellect, and consciousness. Sharira, Indriya, Sattva, Atma, Samyogo, Dhari, Jivitam. You cannot separate mind, you cannot separate intellect, you cannot separate consciousness. Yoga, it puts forth the theory of Panchakoshas. Human system is essentially an integrative manifestation of physical Annamaya Kosha, physiological Pranamaya Kosha, psychological Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, intellectual, and finally Anandamaya Kosha, that is conscious. So, when the human system is so complex and interrelated with all these dimensions, understanding one particular dimension, that is the physical body, I say it is an incomplete knowledge. It is an incomplete knowledge about understanding the human system. That is the reason why these non-communicable diseases, what I mentioned, which they take origin in the mind, still there is no solution because the approach is different. Whereas these traditional systems of medicine have shown lot of useful things, especially in prevention as well as in the management of these non-communicable diseases, and also the role of these systems in boosting immunity in the management of communicable diseases. And the health is also defined accordingly. No doubt, the World Health Organization defines health where it gives importance to physical, mental, and social dimensions. Whereas Ayurveda, Yoga, and all these indigenous systems of medicine, they say, Samadosha, Samagnischa, Samadhatu Malakriyaha, Prasanna Atma Indriyamanaha, Swastamitya Vidhiyate. Health is essentially a balanced state of body, senses, mind, intellect, and consciousness. Therefore, The modern system of medicine is highly expertized in managing the physical. They have understood. Parallelly, these Ayush systems, they have understood physical body to the extent required. May not be to the minutest level what the modern science has understood, but they have the knowledge of senses, mind relationship, mind and intellect and consciousness. With this background, if you want to solve the problems of the whole system, whole life, whole human life, you will have to take what is best in the modern and what is best in the alternative systems of medicine, which the World Health Organization considers as complementary alternative systems of medicine. Similarly, we have in China also. So, if we unite and integrate, what is the advantage? For all physical ailments, we have the very good modern. And for all psychological problems, and coming to this cancer, it is beyond doubt proven that the cancer, even though we say this is the cause, it is a problem not only connected with something like genes, something like the body metabolic functions, but if you go into the ultimate cause of the disease, the lifestyle plays a pivotal role. No doubt, the use of pesticides, inorganic manures during the cultivation, radiation, so many things they cause. But most important thing is our lifestyle. If we have a good lifestyle, then definitely our immune system is something different, very active, very alert. And the disease fighting cells, that is the T cells, they take care, but they are all related to our lifestyle. And these Ayush systems give top priority for this lifestyle. Lifestyle management comprises of ahara, vihara, vichara, achara, vyavahara. What is ahara? Is food and drinks. Vihara, our habits and practices. Vichara, our thoughts. Achara, our daily routine, regimens. And very important, vyavahara. Vyavahara is our relationship with the society, which Ayurveda puts forth in a beautiful terminology as Sadvritta Sadachara. And these are the things. And Ayurveda believes in the theory of what is known as cancer is an inflammatory condition. It's an inflammatory state. And this is again due to the endotoxins that are accumulated, that are produced within our system. You need to cleanse it. You need to remove it. How do you remove? For that we have seasonal cleansing, detoxification therapy, what we call it as through Panchakarma procedure. So Ayurveda and yoga. Yoga is the best. It is proven non-pharmacological therapeutic protocol. Its safety has been proved beyond doubt. It is the best to improve our immune system, to regulate our breath, and to reduce our stress. Yoga believes in the theory, slow down your breath, calm down the mind. The Patanjali says very beautifully, Yoga chitta vritti nirodha samatvam yoga uchyate Bhagavad Gita. So all these what happens when your body, your mind, your intellect, all these are in harmony. Absolutely, there can be no any abnormality, including the so-called cancer. And very important point here is, no doubt a person has already developed cancer due to his karma or whatever. He is being advised to go for chemotherapy, radiotherapy, surgery, hormonal therapy later, rehabilitation therapy. Good, all that good. During that time also, remember, yoga and Ayurveda comes to the rescue of the patient. Yoga, it re-establishes the confidence. Yoga, it makes the person to be in calm, with no fear, no anxiety. Yoga prepares the person even to make his death as his friend. Even in the present situation, the yoga therapy, the yoga protocols will not treat this COVID as an enemy. You accept COVID as your friend, cancer as your friend, then probably you can live longer, you can live happily. And the side effects of this chemotherapy or radiotherapy, radiation therapy, all these things, they put lot of imbalance in the body. And these imbalances, it may be starting from nausea, vomiting, hatredness towards food, irritation, constipation. These are all very simple, but many people run away because of these side effects. And these can be very simply, easily managed, monitored by the simple recipes of Ayurveda and the practice of yoga. And yoga and Ayurveda both recommend a proper lifestyle to be managed. Yuktahara viharascha, yukta chestasu karmani, yukta swapnama bodhascha, yogo bhavati dukkha. Yukta means balanced, ideal. Ahara vihara vichara. Similarly, Ayurveda says, Nityam hitahara vihara sevi, vishayeshva saktaha, data paraha satya kshamavan, aptopasevi cha bhavatya roga. If you want to be healthy, you must follow proper lifestyle. And this lifestyle is taught, practiced more and more only in these Indian systems of medicine. The first line of treatment, therapeutical approach starts from lifestyle management. Later, if necessary, use some herbs, some medicine from the natural resource within your kitchen garden. When it becomes inevitable, make use of these any chemicals, modern system of medicine, there is no problem. This is how the integration should happen. Many times, it is possible to cut a fruit with a blade, but if you take a big knife or axe, that is not the way. For simple things, for smaller things, for the things which are connected to our mind, intellect, we have best options today. It is at your disposal. Coming to one most important point, whether the concept of treatment of cancer is there in Ayurveda and yoga or not. Yes, I am sure all of you are familiar with Bhagavad Gita. Before that, what is the line of treatment for cancer? Any type of cancer? Cancer is an abnormal cell, is an unhealthy cell. It is like a thief. Okay? What you have to do? You have to remove abnormal cells. You have to send the thief out. And you have to convert a thief into a gentleman. You have to see that more and more number of healthy cells are produced and these abnormal cells are killed. And you have to maintain the harmony of it. What Bhagavad Gita says? Bhagavad Gita makes it very clearly. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhuram vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya. Understand three things here. What is that? Dharma samsthapana is establishing a sound health, a balanced health. For that, what you have to do? Paritranaya sadhunam. All healthy cells you have to protect. And you have to produce more and more number of healthy cells. And vinashaya cha dushkritam. An abnormal cell has to be killed. See, look at the treatment. What is the treatment available? Whatever radiotherapy, radiation therapy, our chemotherapy, surgery, what they do? They cut off the abnormal cells. They remove. And a good lifestyle, it will increase more and more number of T cells, more and number of healthy cells. That is the line of treatment. Therefore, The concept of treatment of cancer has been there. Whatever we follow in the society, whatever we follow with reference to an individual, same thing refers to this cancer also. And there are many proven already. MD Anderson Institute of Cancer has conducted many research, and even in Munich we have Dr. Garner, who is an expert in conducting research on cancer with integrative medicine, and the results have shown that there is a good response for breast cancer, cervical cancer, lung cancer. So therefore, integration is inevitable. Integration should happen at all levels. Then probably we can see a ray of hope of providing total cure for the patient suffering with this cancer. Anyway, in this endeavor, I'm so happy. I declare open this international conference on in integrative medicine being organized by Yoga Ayurveda Union Singapore, and I am sure this conference will throw light in the subject, and many people, many experts will be benefited, and it will be touching their heart to know, oh, this is the greatness of Ayurveda. Oh, this is the wisdom of yoga. To that extent, I am sure I have seen the experts who are going to talk and deliver their keynote address, and I'm sure that, I'm convinced that this conference, a first conference of its kind, is enrich the knowledge of practitioners, doctors, scientists, patients, and all set of people. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations and the best for the whole conference. With these few remarks, I conclude. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Dr. Ramakrishna, for this interesting class. I would like to open now the floor for questions and answers.
You just mentioned cancer therapies like radiotherapy, chemotherapy. These things creates imbalance in the body. So are we suggesting, this sort of medication shouldn't be done and rather focus more on yogic way of curing the cancer?
We are not much concerned about this system is good, that system is bad. This is not our objective. When we treat the patient, really patient is for Almighty, for God, for us. And at the earliest, you see, cancer is such a one. If you delay even one day, it has the capacity to spread and create a lot of problems. Therefore, whatever is proven evidence-based today, we will have to accept it. As cancer is an abnormal growth, and we have radiation therapy, we have chemotherapy, we have surgery, depending upon the severity and the type of the cancer, we will have to institute this. And at the same time, we should see that no further new cells are produced. And I am sure this yoga technique, and when you keep your body, mind, and the conscious in balance, definitely the abnormal cell production ratio will come down. And also, as I mentioned it earlier, these radiation therapy, chemotherapy, they are prone to result in side effects. And many people, they discontinue the therapy because of intolerance. Whereas the yoga and Ayurveda, along with this, which is inevitable, will definitely make the patient to tolerate and recover faster. And yoga, because it injects confidence within. Because in yoga, our journey is more of inward. And we try to realize, oh, this is life, is it? Okay? Sukhe dukhe same kritva, labha labho jaya jaya. It prepares the mind to accept both good and bad in the same spirit. Therefore, yoga plays a pivotal role in the management of cancer. Every doctor should understand this and counsel the patient before he or she undergoes into any of these therapies.
My question is, you mentioned the difference between the holistic and modern approach, so it's different. And you travel around in many countries. Do you have the feeling that slowly, step by step, the holistic approach and the high meaning, what the mind is doing to our body, does it come deeper in the knowledge to other countries? Have you the feeling that something changes slowly, step by step in our mind due to our stress?
Yeah, it is a change that is happening worldwide today. See, earlier the human system was understood at the body level. Okay, check the physical parameters, blood pressure, blood sugar, biochemical tests, microbiological tests, scanning, MRI and other things. When people realized that by undergoing all these line of treatment, investigations and other things, problems are not solved, then we look at the alternative. When all roads are closed, what is the human tendency? We try to find an alternative route. We try to find out whether something else is opened here. So with that vision now, I see in entire Europe, I have seen there is a change, paradigm shift. The people, after especially the International Day of Yoga being popularized, yoga is popular now almost every village and every place of the world. And there is a change in the attitude and the thinking of people. And everyone believes that even the science for that matter, how our endocrinal system works, it works in a special programmed way. First is our thoughts, our emotions, our feeling. And that rather sends a signal to our endocrines, hormonal system. And in the endocrines, there are many chemicals, different types of chemicals are produced. Adrenaline, noradrenaline, thyroxine, parathyroxine, all these so many chemicals are produced. These chemicals, they rather activate the neurotransmitters, and many times these chemicals are the neurotransmitters, and this will have a direct impact on the neuromuscular function. So what is that? Psycho-endocrinal neuromuscular pathways. This is how it works. Now people are realizing that there is beyond body, there is mind, there is intellect, and there is consciousness. And all these together, if we are able to understand in totality, see, yoga and Ayurveda, we never treat the disease. Remember, we treat the patient. There is lot of difference between treating a disease, a symptom is different from treating a patient. So there is a paradigm shift in the thinking of the people, and I am sure in a very short duration, the people and the scientists all over the world, they try to understand the inner secret of these and come out in a different scientific.
So there is many kinds of detoxification ongoing in the world. Are you recommending first to cleanse your mind?
Correct.
And then cleanse the body?
See, cleaning the body is very, very important. At the same time, the mind plays a pivotal role. The mind is very important. Remember, all diseases first they manifest, they get into the mind. Unless the mind involves, there is no disease. For example, I will tell you, I have a black mark here. I think you are able to see here.
Yes.
This mark, this skin patch,
Yeah.
you are able to see. If it is bothering me, then what I will do? I will go to a dermatologist. I will go to a super specialist seeking a solution for this. If my mind perceives that this is adding beauty to my skin, my face, I enjoy it. So the problem is not in the patch. The problem is in the mind. Anything for that matter. You know, one of our Bollywood actress, okay, she had a webbed nose. She went to Europe and got plastic surgery done to elevate her nose. In that case, Was that nose complaining or creating problem? The problem was in the mind. Therefore, in all diseases for that matter, including in the pandemic, if you are confident, if you feel that, yes, nothing will happen, it will come, it has to come. Let me do my boosting immunity by practice of yoga, pranayama, proper lifestyle and other things. That will boost your immune system. That will produce more of T cells. And the stressors will come down.
Very
And
good. Thank you.
oxytocin and all these good the hormones, they are produced more, and we develop more, a better healthy state. Therefore, mind has to be cleansed and body has to be purified. So, cleanse the mind, calm the mind through yoga, and purify the system through Ayurveda.
Do we have in Ayurveda any specific routine to make our mind practice as well as in yoga to make it more prominent so that it doesn't affect any of our negative emotions which we are being surrounded by in our day-to-day life, so that we can keep our mind active and also fight against all emotional and psychological, physical and mental problems?
The lifestyle management, it includes what is known as dinacharya. Dinacharya means daily regimens. It starts as early as 3:30 or 3:45 in the morning. What we call it as Brahmi Muhurta. Waking up early in the morning, that in a very, when the entire atmosphere, our entire environment is so calm and cool. Suppose you get up and you do all your morning, attending to nature calls and other things, and later do your work and focus on anything you want. It will be very, very fruitful and more productive. Similarly, from morning to evening, we have certain practices. It essentially includes vyayama, physical exercise, taking oil bath, taking food in a manner, that too a food which is sattvic in nature, which calms down the mind. Like that, daily regimens are there, seasonal regimens are there. These are all there which will take care of our body. But mind, remember, the problem for all our day-to-day problems are due to the highest velocity of our mind. Our mind, in a fraction of a second, it rather goes around the world. In a given point of second, it thinks too many things, multiplicity of thoughts. And the speed of mind is the problem. How do you reduce the speed? Slow down the breath, calm down the mind. How do you slow down the breath? Do your pranayama, abdominal breathing, chest breathing, neck breathing, yogic breathing, and different types of pranayamas, nadi shuddhi pranayama, and finally go into meditation. It will help you to slow down your breath. When breath is slowed down, automatically the mind becomes calm. When mind becomes calm, no accidents in life. Your intellect works sharper, faster, with no mistakes. Therefore, if you practice regularly the yoga, in that pranayama and dhyana, it rather makes your mind calm. And as I said, daily practice of regimens and the seasonal regimens, all these things will keep your body fit. Finally, health is not only the physical endurance, it is essentially a calm state of mind. There is body, mind, and spirit. If there is harmony, that is health. It is possible easily by following the lifestyle of Ayurveda and yoga.
Is breath the only link connected to the Panchakoshas? How breath patterns change as we enter the higher kosha?
Yeah, see, the Panchakoshas, as you know, it is physical Annamaya, physiological Pranamaya, psychological Manomaya, Vijnanamaya intellectual and Anandamaya is the spiritual. How among these there is a force? See, the first is physical, then comes physiological, then comes mind, intellect and consciousness. Keep this consciousness separate. It is always the witnessing. Whereas the mind and intellect are very closely connected. The physical and the physiological are very closely connected. But the prana, which is yet to be defined, people call it as bioenergy. This prana, our breathing is a type of prana. It is, I mean, breathing itself is not a prana. We have body temperature, we have our breathing, breath. These are all the features of prana, that bioenergy. That prana is the force which provides link between the body, the mind, intellect and the consciousness. If you want to maintain the harmony between physical, physiological, psychological, intellectual and the spiritual, the bioenergy, that is the prana, should be in harmony. How do you make that prana in harmony? You will have to slow down in. If you practice regularly pranayam, breath regulation technique, it will help to maintain the harmony between body, mind and consciousness. Therefore, in every yoga, including while practicing asanas, suppose you are going for some asana of the backward bending or forward bending. Say in forward bending, you can't inhale. You must inhale first and then exhale and bend. And after reaching a particular position, we should not hold, except in Surya Namaskara 6th state. So therefore, the prana plays an important role in maintaining the harmony, inter and intra harmony. You understand these 2 points. What is health? Health is inter and intra harmony among these 5 dimensions. There should be harmony within our body. There should be harmony within our prana, within our mind, within our intellect. And in between also, between body and the mind, there should be harmony. So that is possible only by properly regulated prana. Therefore, pranayama, breath regulation technique, plays a pivotal role. That is the reason why in all types of cancer patients, we recommend pranayama. See, healing for that matter. When a wound is not healing, what does it mean? It means there is insufficient prana. Suppose there is pain here, what does it mean? Prana is locked there. Heart attack sudden, what does it mean? Prana is locked. Therefore, we should see that prana works properly. Prana reaches each and every part and cells of our body uninterruptedly in a harmonious way. Therefore, pranayama plays an important role in prevention of disease, in cure of disease, in prevention of relief, and from moving from health to positive health, total health, quality health.
Say a person completed doing chemotherapy and is a survivor, and how yoga help to overcome, the therapy, the medicine, how long it will take in our body, and how the yoga can help.
Chemotherapy is given to kill the abnormal cells. You agree with me? There are abnormal cells. We have to destroy abnormal cells and we have to produce more healthier cells. Is it not? So, this yoga, it helps to produce more and more of healthy cells through rejuvenation process. So, it produces more and more, it helps to produce rejuvenate cells. See, it is something like this. If we have to clean a particular area, it means we have to clean even the corners, we have to clean the shelves, and we should see that we use our cleaning instrument to each and every point and clean it. Similarly, our body cells, innumerable cells, human system is composed of innumerable number of energy packets. And we have to see that they are activated. When they are activated, the debris or the toxins that are accumulated in them are excreted out. Only through proper pranayama, according to yoga, we can reach each and every energy packets of the system, whether it's in the brain or in the liver or in the kidney. And it helps to rejuvenate and also neutralize the toxins, or it helps to excrete the toxins. Therefore, in chemotherapy, let the patient keep on going chemotherapy depending upon the expert's advice, no problem. Let them do pranayama, and this pranayama reduces anxiety, tension. See, a patient undergoing chemotherapy will have a lot of anxiety. Whether am I going to be cured? Am I going to be normal? After chemotherapy, I lose my hairs. I lose my color of the skin. So many things people have anxiety. All these anxieties, how can you overcome? You must make him calm, inject confidence. That confidence is possible when you rather slow down the breath. Therefore, slow down the breath, calm down the mind. And that prana, when your breath rate comes down, your body relaxes, mind relaxes. Prana reaches to each and every nook and corner. Rejuvenation starts.
There are people who are living a really healthy lifestyle and still are developing cancer. How do you introspect this?
I will tell you. See, people claim that I am healthy. But as I said, health is not merely at the body level. And secondly, Yoga and Ayurveda believes one more theory called the sins of previous birth. We believe in rebirth theory. Yoga and Ayurveda, we believe in rebirth theory. If you have committed blunders, if you have committed immoral things in the previous life, these come as vasanas and samskaras. They come as something like, they are attached with us. And that will rather create problems. Many times, healthy people say that, he is healthy here and healthy, why he is suffering? This suffering we attribute, maybe science has to prove it, but it is sure that we believe that the prarabdha karma, the sins committed in the earlier life, it comes in the form of impressions. They are something like brought forward, and they are rooted in our genes. And from there, when there is an opportunity, when there is a good environment due to stress and other things, it comes down. See, for example, our mouth, should we say that it is the healthiest place? No. In fact, our mouth, it contains, it can create, it can help to create or multiply any type of organisms. Similarly, every person for that matter will have the seeds within the system. But when there is a congenial atmosphere, it starts complaining. It starts erupting. Therefore, just appearing healthy at the body is not health. A healthy person means he should be balanced. He should be with harmony of body, mind, intellect, senses, and consciousness.
A huge thanks to you and to all the audience listening and all the questions.